Hi, hello, hi, Vivian. Well, we know you as Vivian. Welcome, our guests. We are on another episode of Meet Momo Code Finalists, and we have Vivian, is what we call her. I'll let her introduce herself. So I first would like you could just say hi, Vivian. You
Hi.
want to say hi to everybody? Thank you, everybody that's joined us today. So we are about to get started. So let's kick off with our first question for this afternoon. So, Vivian, please give us a brief introduction about yourself, where you're from, your tech stack, and your tech journey prior to starting the JUUBIX Global TechSprint Leadership Program. Over to you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you for having me. So my name is Vivian Atieno Ouma. So if you see the Atieno, don't be confused. It's the same person. Yeah. So I live in Nairobi, Kenya. Though during my participation in JUUBIX, I was staying in a small town called Kakamega. So I recently just moved to Nairobi. And I'm mainly involved in backend development and data engineering. I'm very passionate about just writing the business logic and making sure that the data pipeline of applications work well. My tech stack is Python. I use Node. I use Java, PHP, and Ruby. And since I'm a data person, I also speak fluent SQL. So yeah, uh, I also did a computer science degree. So I have a degree in computer science, and I've worked with a number of organizations, including Fusion Analytics, Health IT, Technovation, and AWS. So yeah, that's pretty much summarizes my journey before uh, the program.
Thank you so much for that. If you could just speak a little bit higher, I know you're quite softly spoken, but just for our audience to be able to hear you, I know you're very confident, Vivian. So I want to see that, when you're expressing yourself. So let's go to our next question. So our next question is: can you tell us a little bit about your family history and what influence this had on you choosing the technology industry as a whole?
Mm.
Or if it
Okay.
had any influence at all, it might not have had any influence, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. Uh, I kind of come from a humble background, but it's not that bad. Most of my family are in the engineering field. My brothers are in the engineering field. My dad is in the engineering field. Yeah, so but he's in the civil and the mechanical engineering field. So not software engineering field.
Oh,
I
okay.
bas- yeah, sure. I do have four siblings. So yeah. Uh, I don't think my family history pretty much had a big influence in my journey in tech, though it almost did. So, uh, honestly, I didn't want to do software development. I didn't even know what that is to begin with. So, when I finished high school, wanted to go to campus, I really wanted to do civil engineering because the people I really looked up to were in that field. So, I felt like uh, that's the field for me. But then when I was admitted into the university, I was admitted to do computer science. So I pretty much spent the first 2 semesters in campus trying to change from computer science to civil engineering, which I somehow regret to date because I wasted most of my time that I would have spent coding. But this changed when I attended an event. Google has these clubs in campuses called Google Developer Students Clubs. So I attended an event one day. I got to develop my very first web application, and I got fascinated about it. And I was like, wow, okay, so I can really do this. So I continued attending more and more events, more and more conferences. I continued learning new things, trying new things to see where my niche actually is. And with time, I pretty much settled for backend development and data. So yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. You sound very
Yeah.
passionate about it. What made you really focus in on the data aspect? Is that more because you like the problem solving, kind of mind bogglingness of it? Or, what was it that made you quite passionate about that?
uh, I pretty much can't explain my relationship with data. It just fascinates me to get to know how I can actually get an input from a user, raw input from the user, get to manipulate it through the system, get to store it in the database, get to extract, manipulate it again, and get some insights from it. So it's the whole pipeline that I find fascinating, and that's why I also focused in on the back end, because most of it is done in the back end. Um, I find it interesting more than just doing the front end. Front end, I don't know. I find it a bit complicated. Uh,
So a lot of people say vice versa. You're like, no, front end is too complicated for me.
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
rather
yeah.
stick to the back end.
I mean, people are different. I get fascinated by the logics of things, like what is really running something. What is the core of, like, let's say, a software, rather than what does the user see. So what the user sees is equally important. I don't. I don't. I'm not talking down on the user interface, the front end, and all that, but what is actually done in the background is actually the core. So that is the whole thing that fascinates me. I remember when I first interacted with a computer, I was like, how am I able to actually do this? Yeah, okay, I can drag and drop this thing and it works, but what really drives it? What's the engine
Mm,
that drives this thing? So that's what made me like focus on back end and data end. Yeah.
fantastic. So without the, the crooks of the vehicle, it cannot drive. No matter how
Yeah,
beautiful a Mercedes, how beautiful a Lexus, we
how
see all the
beautiful it is. Yeah,
polishes,
exactly.
but
Yeah,
internally there's so much that has gone on,
that's
to
going
make
on.
it
Yeah, sure.
to go vroom vroom, down the roads.
Hmm.
I totally get what you mean in terms of the infrastructure.
Hmm.
So yeah, that leads us nice into our next question. So what made you choose to participate in the JUUBIX GTLP? Like what made your deciding to, yeah, actually I'll go ahead with this.
Uh, yeah, I remember when you reached out to me during, was it the Tech Women event? Yeah, I was like, okay, what is it all about? So you reached out, we had a short chat on the same platform. Uh, and you told me what JUUBIX is all about. So after that call, I decided to go and look up JUUBIX online. So I saw the website, I saw the LinkedIn profile, I went through it. Uh, and honestly, I felt like I shared in the vision of what JUUBIX was all about, using technology to make life easier. For instance, JUUBIX is using cutting edge technologies to remove the bias in like investment in startups. So I felt like I kind of shared in it, because as a minority, there are some biases we usually experience out there. They might not
Mm,
be conscious biases, but eventually you'll just experience the biases. So I really related with what JUUBIX was all about, wanting to remove all these biases, making a level playground for everyone, so that you don't miss out on opportunities based on a number of things that you don't have control over. And also, I saw it as an opportunity to collaborate with developers on an international level, since you mentioned we are going to work with teams of or a team of people from different countries all over the world. So I saw
mm.
it as a good opportunity to collaborate with my fellow devs, get to learn something from them, as well as get to contribute to building JUUBIX. Yeah, so and also something else, I really wanted to venture into fintech, and I didn't have a way to break through into it. So I also felt like it's a good opportunity for me to venture into fintech, learn about blockchain and all that. So it was all about learning, networking, collaborating, and just building my portfolio and skills.
Internet is like a hub for
Hello.
so interesting indeed. So let's go to my next question.
Mhm.
You were more back end. So
Uh,
can you
Hello,
hear
Susan. Can you hear me?
me? Yes, I think
Uh,
it's my internet. Is it your?
Mine is pretty much stable. I can see the connection is full.
Right. Apologies for that. Did you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I was saying, did you get the last question that I asked?
Not quite. Maybe you can just come up again, please.
With us. Hopefully, we should be back on. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Fantastic,
Mhm.
fantastic. Apologies, audience, for that short glitch. Let's continue. So I was just saying, while you're participating in the GTLP, what areas did you cover? Because obviously there was some R&D initially done, as well as obviously, some actual coding. So what areas did you cover when you were participating?
Uh, I believe we were the first cohort, yeah. So pretty much most of our time we spent into uh, translating whatever was in the white paper into a software requirements document, and just trying to figure out the architecture and all that. So most of the time, I spent most of my time on designing the databases. I remember I did a few designs for the databases, sorry, and the data pipeline, and also I did a bit of logic, the application logic. Yeah, and at some point I also collaborated with the front end developers. I remember working with Senemi, with Wismark on the front end at some point. So yeah, it was a wholesome experience because I got to try my hand in everything. At some point, you also talked about the cloud and all that. So I was much focused on the back end, the data, the databases, the data pipeline, but I also tried my hand out in front end. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's actually the platform. So we're actually having a lot of issues with the StreamYard platform today. It's not actually our internet, so apologies for that. But yeah, so you found it quite easy looking more deeper into, the
Sorry. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello, Susan.
deeper white papers.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now, but I feel like you're breaking. Can I just log out for a bit and try and log back in? Or it's
Yeah,
just the platform?
I think it is the platform. I don't think it is us actually, because
Uh, uh, uh.
all my other things are working in sync. So I think it is the platform. So hopefully we don't have another glitch. But what I was saying is that, what really stuck out for you when you're working on those different areas?
What really stuck out for me? Uh,
Mhm.
Basically, the database design. I remember I did it so passionately until, was it Nesta from Oracle? Uh, there was this expert you brought in from Oracle, uh, who really complimented the database design that I did. So what really stuck out for me was the data pipeline that we're trying to lay out for uh, the whole system and the whole architecture. So it was just the architectural design of the database that really stuck out for me. Yeah,
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
yeah, sure.
So let's go on to my next question. So I think we were going to have a presentation at this time, but I haven't actually been able to get it up on the screen, and I don't want it to cause further delay on our um, technical, any technical issues in terms of reception. So, in regards to, after you completed the GTLP, what have you been involved in since that time?
Huh. So I've been involved in a number of things. First of, I still continued with my initial job. Remember when I was joining JUUBIX, I was working at. I had a day job, so I was joining JUUBIX on a part-time basis. Uh, so I continued with my job. At some point, we stopped working because the funding period was over, so we had to apply for another funding. But later on, we got the funding and we continued with our work. So like right now we're just developing software that are used in the healthcare system. uh, yeah. Uh, Other than that, I've also continued with my mentoring work. Prior Technovation, prior the JUUBIX leadership program, I was working with Technovation as a mentor, so I continued with that work. Uh, I kept on mentoring high school kids into mobile app development, and I believe we pretty much done well in terms of that area. Uh,
Yeah, could you
I
elaborate
also
more on that? Actually, we'd like to hear more about that mentorship stuff that you do. So, is that a way of giving back, or is that just something that you're passionate about doing? Supporting other youngsters.
it's actually both, because when I was starting out in tech, I didn't know what it's all about. I didn't know its benefit, especially for me as a woman. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of my way of giving back, and I'm also passionate about doing it. uh so I usually feel like if you're given the right information at the right time, you'll make informed decisions. And that's why the target is on high school kids. If they get to learn about the benefits of venturing into tech while they're still in high school, it becomes easier to cultivate uh, that uh, that skill in them at an early stage. They get to be more informed, so that when they're choosing their courses, when they're joining universities, they don't just go for courses for the sake or just for the name, but they're making a decision that is informed. They know what tech is all about, the benefits of being in tech, and all that. So the program basically runs for 12 weeks annually. You get to teach girls about mobile development. Uh, they get to develop an idea. They identify a problem in their society, in their environment, uh, find a solution for it, and that is developing a mobile app to solve that solution. Develop a business plan for that solution, and get to pitch it. So girls who usually win this challenge get a chance to but it's actually a global challenge. So if you win the regional competition, you get to participate in the finals with other girls that now in the international level.
Oh,
Uh,
sounds
so so
interesting.
so girls who win usually go to Silicon Valley to pitch the ideas, and the ideas that take the day usually get a funding. So it's actually a wholesome experience. So if let's say somebody is not necessarily into the coding aspect, they might just pick up the business aspect of tech.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say if somebody is not necessarily uh, passionate about development, but then they want to be project or product managers, they can still get to do that. So it's a wholesome experience. In the team, they get to divide the tasks and how they go about it. So yeah, that's pretty much about innovation, and I do it out of passion and also out of it's a way of giving back. Somebody held my hand when I didn't know the benefits of being in tech, so I felt like I should do that, but now reach out to people who are still young so that they can make the decision earlier and don't waste much time before they get started with tech. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. It sounds like such an inspirational initiative, and also the fact that they're able to now meet globally,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
participants and actually, pitch their business idea in front of investors. That's amazing.
Yeah, sure.
You touched on a great thing. Obviously being a woman in tech, and also you're a black woman in tech. Now, how have you found that in terms of like applying for jobs, applying for courses? How have you found being a woman first of all, and also obviously being a black female? How have you found the applications that you've made, the job interviews? How have you found that?
Mm, actually, I wouldn't say much about being a woman, being black, and how it affects the opportunities that I get out there, because I might not be aware of how it affects it. Uh, Personally, like I haven't encountered any bias against me with regards to me being black, but being a woman, you get some nasty comments once in a while, some degrading comments. People don't believe that you are actually skilled as your male colleagues.
Mm.
Let's say if you're working on something, people will look at you as a lesser person in terms of being technical compared to the men. So as a woman, I've actually experienced that firsthand. I've seen it, but as a black person, I've not been in a situation where I missed an opportunity or I was made to feel less because I'm black. I've not been in that position before, or
Mhm.
maybe it happened without my knowledge. But yeah, maybe just something that I can mention that is out of what you asked. A limitation that I've faced in the tech industry is probably my location.
Mhm.
As a person in tech, yeah, my location. You get a job that you feel you're very much qualified for. You actually apply for it, and your qualifications are a match. Like you are the it, but then they reach out and tell you,
You are the it. Yeah, I like that.
yeah, they reach out and tell you, we love your CV, we love your portfolio, but unfortunately, we are not hiring people from your country. And you're like,
Mm.
wow, okay, the world has changed, things are shifting, people are working remotely. If you feel like my skill match whatever you're looking for, why not give me a chance? Maybe I can work remotely. I don't have to come to your country. I can work remotely. But then at times, I don't also blame them. Maybe it's the organizational policies, but
Yeah.
that's a form of discrimination I feel I've encountered.
Mm.
I've encountered that discrimination based on my location, which I feel is not fair at all. It's not.
Very interesting. So it goes on to our next question. Yeah. Are there any insights you would like to share with, up and aspiring software developers? People like you said, obviously there's, the initiative that you're a part of, but, is there any advice that you'd give to new aspiring software developers, coming into this field?
Yeah, sure. I have a lot of things I could say.
Yeah, go ahead.
uh,
The platform is here for you.
but what I'd say to begin with is just start whenever, wherever, however, whatever it is. If you even if you don't know what you really want when it comes to the tech industry, just start from anywhere. Do anything. Do it confused, do it scared, but just do it. and make sure you're consistent, because if you do something and you don't put the time and effort into it, you'll be as good as somebody who is not doing it at all. So just do it, just start. However confused you are, however scared you are, start. You have to start from somewhere, and you'll figure it out along the way as you're going. So I think that's something I would say, because I I kind of lagged. I kind of held back for some time because I was confused. I didn't know what tech was all about. I was kind of scared to venture into it because when I was getting started, I didn't know anyone who was into tech, so and all that. So just do it, whether you're scared, whether you're confused. Just get started. You'll figure out things as you go. And something else that I can say: don't be scared of making mistakes. We actually learn from our mistakes. So you just do it.
Mm.
When you face that mistake, you'll get to learn from it, and it will actually build who you really are. And something else, as a developer, just be part of a community, be part of a developer communities. These
Mm.
communities actually empower you. They give you a network of like-minded people who can help you in your journey. uh, they also give you an opportunity to interact with maybe even your potential employers, and you just get a sense of belonging. You don't feel like you're alone in this journey. So personally, communities have been a great part of my journey. As I mentioned, attending a DSC event made me realize that, oh, I can actually do this thing. So
Mm-hmm.
communities are a very big part if you want to go far. uh, and also, apart from that, once you've gotten started, just share your work with the world. If you build something, share it out on Twitter. Maybe somebody will see and somebody might be interested in working with you with regards to that.
Mm.
Uh, then something else: seize every opportunity that comes your way, no matter how small you think it is, no matter how invaluable you think it is. Just seize every opportunity you get. For instance, I can reference myself. When I was getting started with the JUUBIX leadership program, I didn't know what it was all about. I actually didn't think it will have much impact on my future works, but when I added it into my resume that I worked with JUUBIX GTLP, and I actually stated what it was all about, it opened some doors for me. I got some opportunity out of that. So just seize every opportunity. You never know what will come out of it. You never know
Mm-hmm.
how it will end for you. So I'd say seize every opportunity and always keep on learning and diversifying. Tech is constantly changing. New things are constantly being brought in. So if you be complacent and just be okay, I know web development and I think I'm fine, it will reach some point you would actually be, I don't know. You won't be as useful. So compared to your peers who keep on learning and keep on acquiring new skills, you won't be as competitive. So keep on learning, keep on diversifying, seize every opportunity you have, be part of a community. Actually, your network is your net worth. So if you don't have a network of developers around you,
Mm.
what do you expect really? Yeah. And just
Yeah, I
get
mean that
started.
even
Those are the insights I can give.
yeah, that was amazing insights. I mean, I think
Mhm.
very inspiring those things that you said there. I was
Yeah.
even going to say to you as well is, in terms of like emerging technologies, what are the key emerging technologies that these developers need to look out for? And is there any specific technologies that you're really interested in to find out more about in terms of the emerging technologies in the future?
Okay. By the since I left the leadership program, I've been focusing on Web3. So like late last year, I attended an event organized by Mara. It was called the Web3 Developer Show Nairobi, the Developer Roadshow Nairobi, and actually got to learn more about developing on the Web3. I learned about the blockchain solutions and actually joined the academy, the Mara Academy. I completed a course, and right now I can say I'm a certified Web3 developer. I use Solidity, so I develop the smart contracts. So that's a technology I I got keen interest in of late, and it's a technology that people should look out for. Something else is the metaverse. And actually, this is interesting because from Monday up till yesterday, I've been attending an event uh, at an event called Sigma Africa, and
Mm.
it's basically about the metaverse. So it was a wholesome event. There was a number of exhibitions by company that provide services and solutions in the gaming and betting industries. There were exhibitions from companies that are developing and deploying in the metaverse, and actually got to participate in the metaverse hackathon. So I built a game on top of uh, a solution called Decentraland. So Decentraland is basically a metaverse on its own. It's like a whole different virtual world on its own. And I found it fascinating because people are really investing in such things like NFTs. So, for instance, if I developed my game to completion and actually get to deploy it on Decentraland, I might even sell it out as an NFT. I might sell the avatars in my game as NFTs and all that. So that's a technology to look up for, which JUUBIX has also embraced in the Momo Code, and it's actually uh, interesting to see. Something else that people should like look out for is AI. I know you've heard this a lot, but yeah, you should really look
Yeah,
out for.
Wismac touched on it yesterday. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Artificial intelligence is advancing, and you can actually now use technology for so many other things. For instance, we now have Chat GPT, which simplifies your work. Like I don't even want to go about to talk about Chat GPT because it's a whole other topic. But we have things like right now you can actually generate art using AI. You can actually generate fashion outfits. I saw there's a designer who is actually now trying to uh, trying to depict what fashion will look like in the future. And I don't know, I found it so fascinating. And these are things that are done using AI models. They're AI generated art. So I mean, I know it's cliche, but AI is just something to look out for. The metaverse is also something you should really look into because people are really investing a lot of money in the metaverse. And yeah, blockchain is driving the economy right now. Most people are shifting into the decentralized world. So these are things that are really advancing, and people should just look out for. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that breakdown. It leads
Mm-hmm.
us into our last question. So, do you see yourself as a future leader? And if so, why? Why do you see yourself as a future leader?
A future leader. Can you remove the word future? Because I believe I'm already a
Okay.
leader.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah, I believe I'm already a leader. Uh, I consider my leader because I possess like strong communication skills. Okay, I can easily express myself, express what I think and what I feel to people. So that makes a good leader. I have a positive attitude towards life. I mean, at times life can throw things at you that you feel like you cannot take, but somehow somehow you get to figure it out. I also consider myself a leader because I still have the willingness to learn and the ability to work well with teams. I remember being a leader is all about service. So if you can't work with other people, you are less of a leader. A leader is not somebody who just gives out uh, orders. A leader is supposed to lead by example. You lead by
Yeah.
doing, and you work along with your team. So I believe that also makes me a leader. Mm, actually, I also believe I'm a leader because I'm proactive. Uh, what else? There are a lot of things I could say about myself that makes me feel like I'm a leader, and also all thanks to the program. By the way, the leadership program, I got to improve my leadership skills. I remember you used to assign us roles, leadership roles during the sprints. You'd just say, Vivian, you're leading the sprint this time. So I got to actually improve my leadership skills. I was not so good with managing teams before, And at some point, I think it actually showed during the program, but I learned from that and I got to build on top of that. So I can say I'm good with managing people. Like even at work right now, I usually lead sprints, which I was not doing before that. So
Amazing.
yeah, I consider myself a leader, and I'm also learning. I'm always learning and diversifying, which is something that also makes a good leader. As a leader, you're supposed to lead your team into progress. Like there's no way you're going to progress if you're not trying to diversify and learn and get to like just improve all the time. So yeah, I believe I'm a leader, or maybe let's say future leader.
No, I like the fact that you said I'm a leader now.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we wanted you to be when you left the program. So the fact that you're embracing that, and endorsing yourself as a leader, that's exactly what we want. A lot of people to know that you can be a leader. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be forceful. You don't have to be, biased. All you have to
Yeah.
do is be inclusive and actually do it in the right way. And once you do it in
Mhm.
the right way, a lot of people will follow your lead. So, yeah, thank you for that breakdown. Last but not least, we'd like to get your final comments. Like, what would be your final sentiments to send out to the world today? Whether it be, a phrase or, anything that comes to mind. What would be your last comment? And I apologize for the
Uh,
glitches as well throughout your interview, but you've been amazing. Thank you for that.
it's okay. It's okay. My final word. I mean, it's what I usually tell everyone all the time. Just keep on improving yourself, keep on diversifying, because the world is also moving. So always constant learning, no matter whatever it is you're learning. It doesn't have to be always the technical bit. Because in this world you actually need all types of all types of what do we call it? You need EQ, you need IQ, you need the social, you need all types of intelligence. You don't need to be intelligent in just one aspect of life. So I just say, like, just keep on learning, keep on diversifying, and keep on improving yourself, keep on working on yourself, like over and over. It's an iterative process. You keep on metamorphosizing. So like just keep on learning, keep on improving yourself. And yeah,
I
I
like
think
that
that's what I'll say.
what was that word? More sizing. What was the word that you just used?
Metamorphosize.
Oh wow, yeah, that
it,
sounds very interesting. I'll be looking that up after our call.
it comes from the word metamorphosis. So
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it sounds very
yeah,
interesting.
and
But
yeah,
yeah, thank you so much, Vivian, for joining. I mean, obviously, thank you for participating in the first place, but also thank you for coming on the show and actually sharing your experience as well as your insights with the rest of the world. And we hope you continue to do great things, being the leader that you are. And yeah, thank you for our attendees. Thank you for our audience that has been watching and listening. And I apologize once again for obviously the technical issues that we had during the session. I hope that you've been able to get enough information and content to be able to obviously develop your experience in tech further. So yeah, thank you. So we're gonna close the episode for today, and thank you for participating, Vivian. And yeah, I hope to collaborate with you further in future.
yeah. I look forward to that too. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No, not at all. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye. Say bye
Bye.
to the audience.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.